How to stay, huh?
Yeah, it's very lifestyles of the rich and famous. There's all kinds of antique vases, all kinds of decorations, and it's just so huge. We're sitting here the first morning. I heard this back. One of our palm trees dropped a great big huge palm. Um, we can walk down to the back of the property where there's a big pool. It's crazy.
I have hit the go button. I haven't announced us yet, but I'm also noticing that I'm having a problem with one of my microphones. So we're not quite started yet, even though we've started. If there's anybody out there paying attention to us, yeah, this microphone has decided not to work again. But
Yeah,
that
can hear you.
that beep. Yeah, but you're hearing us through a different mic. You're hearing us through the camera that's way over there. Let's see this thing. I'm gonna disconnect and reconnect. Give me a. I'll be right back.
Someone's gonna have to readmit you.
No, I'm the dude. I'm the one that does that. Microphone. Yeah, it's not even recognizing. Hold on.
Or the top plug.
You mean?
Maybe it's loose.
Well, no, you're hearing it. You hear the. You
Yeah,
hear it,
I
right?
can hear it.
Yeah. I mean, like it's recognizing it. It's just not following through the. I feel like I need to get into the drivers. What's going on with the device?
You're gonna do a USB on the other side. You have one.
Yeah, I don't. Two on one side and one on the other. Oh, but you know what? I wonder if that's related because I have limited permissions on this account. I wonder if I've had it plugged into this other one before. And it's the only one that has permissions to change. But that's it. I bet that's it. It's a Windows permissions issue
Maybe.
because
Let's see if it works. It wouldn't ding again.
the lights. Camera's back up and running. I think we've been streaming this whole time, but I'll introduce ourselves and let's get this meeting back. Where'd our meeting go? Yeah. Oh, and Chester's there now too. Hello, hello.
So someone's gonna be.
All those people. All those people have authorization.
Hola.
Hola.
Hello.
Oh, damn it! We still have the wrong microphone. Be right back. Carlos. Daddy. Oh, this is frustrating. Um, ugh, it's still not. Oh. Windows, right?
Reboot the computer.
Right? Uh, Testing 1, 2. Testing 1, 2. Testing 1, 2. Hello, hello. Yeah, I'm getting rid of this. Oh, all right. Hey, sir. All right.
¿No te gustaron los conferences?
Oh, finally.
Monday?
Finally, the microphone is
No,
working.
eran horribles. I want to refund.
I didn't have these kinds of problems before Windows 11. I had different problems. I mean, to be fair. I mean, to tell the truth. Okay, 1, 2, 1, 2. And all right, I'm back. Can you hear me tapping that? Knock, knock. Anybody?
Hello.
Somebody get back to
I can
me.
hear you now.
Hey, sure.
I can hear you talking, but not tapping.
We can't hear you guys now. Oh, I see why, though.
What?
Okay. There we go. Now we can hear you. Can you hear us okay, Sid?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right.
You may want to turn your
We can
volume.
hear you fine.
Yeah, you can hear me okay? Okay. Well, here we go.
Louder.
It's meeting time, baby.
Chester, you might need to speak, turn up your speakers. Is Sid quiet when you hear him? Say something.
When you hear me?
Chester? I don't know. I feel like I'm blowing the roof off of my audio. I'm actually trying to turn it down because it's way up in the red.
Well, I hear Cheryl and Bill very distinctly, but you're kind of faint. And then you're right, I can turn up my volume.
I think it might be related to that, Chester. 'Cause on my end, it looks like I'm just blowing out the speakers.
Will do.
All right. Okay. Well, welcome. Welcome, one and all. You have reached us at Tequilas for an in-person meeting. This meeting is attended by me, Emily, and Jim. We got a message from... Oh, that camera's dead. You can see a still picture of Jim there at the end because this camera decided to stop working for a moment. Let me try putting that back on. There we go. Now it's not a still image. We got a message from Judy saying that she wasn't going to be able to join us. And, well, of course, Bill and Cheryl are in Alamos enjoying an amazing hacienda. Cheryl's sitting outside in the sun. How fortunate. And this is the San Carlos Computer Club. I have hit the YouTube button, so you guys are all online right now. The internet is watching me eat huevos rancheros. Not a rancheros huevos, but huevos rancheros.
What?
And as usual, I did send out a document that had some topics on it that I thought might be interesting to us. And I will drop that link in the chat in case that makes it easier for anyone else. I'm surprised my mom and dad aren't online today. I've actually got a plan to fly up there on Thursday and join them and bring them down for Thanksgiving. It's almost Thanksgiving. Where are they? They're in Mesa right now. Mesa, Arizona.
Oh.
Yeah, they're up in Phoenix.
Okay. Yeah.
So they, so we put together a plan where I would fly from Hermosillo up to Phoenix. They'd pick me up, and I'd stay the night, and then I would drive them down in their vehicle, so they'd have a car while they were down here. But they wouldn't have to do that drive.
I'm right there. I can see me.
So we do have some topics, but as usual, I'm interested in anything that you guys bring to the table. So if you've got something interesting to share with our group, do it now. What's somebody got out there? Bill and Cheryl, your internet in Alamos is working good? I see Bill's hand up. Hey, there's Fred. Good morning, Fred. Welcome. We're just getting started.
Just came on and he asked us.
Bill, I see your hand up.
Good morning.
I just want to.
Whoop. How about Bill
go on
and then
record.
Chester and then Sid? And whoever after that. Bill, go ahead.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I want to go on record as saying I'm very sad that I'm not having chilaquiles this morning. I had to settle for toast and jam. There, I've said it.
Just not the same.
This is why you should never go to Alamos. We should stay stagnant forever.
You hear Emily? She's in favor of being stagnant. You should not be mobile.
Stay where you are, do what you know you can do, and eat chilaquiles.
If you're living a stagnant lifestyle, you'd still be in San Carlos eating chilaquiles.
Scott, you asked about our internet connection.
Yeah.
It's very, very sketchy. You are breaking up quite a bit on the audio. Bill has installed our Deco system, and I'm not sitting right beside it. I did sit right beside it yesterday for a Zoom meeting that I had, and it worked quite fine. But of course, it's thick walls and it's distance and everything, so it's not great.
So, what's feeding you internet? Is it Starlink, or is it Telmex, or is it Telcel?
Telmex.
Telmex? Is it a fiber optic connection?
No, we don't think so.
You think it's a DSL connection?
I haven't really looked.
Bill hasn't really investigated it. We came in on Saturday and are still unloading and figuring out things.
Well, the beauty of a mesh network is if you...
Decos.
Yeah?
I have started my first loaf of sourdough this morning. So there is progress being made.
You're right on schedule.
Sourdough is like if IT were bread.
I don't know what that means. If IT were like a bread. Just looking for jobs. That's what you're looking for. I'm looking for work. I'll do sourdough.
On a less positive note, I have not figured out the shower in our bathroom. You get it set really nicely, and then you get this really cold shock, and you wait a bit, and then it evens out again. So if my hair appears a bit stringy, it's because I couldn't rinse it completely. There, that's it.
All right. I'm glad we're covering the important stuff this morning.
Yeah.
What do we got? I don't even have off-topic topics. Do you have any off topics? Anything that's not a news item, just something that's a topic?
Wasn't you Sid gonna talk as well?
Oh yeah, Sid, did you have a topic? Chester, did you have a topic? Oh, there's Sid. Sid, you got a topic?
No, I don't.
Oh,
Nope.
okay.
I'm sorry, but I don't.
Oh. Everybody's rushing to talk and nobody has anything to say. Well,
Absolutely.
I don't have any topics either, except for these news articles I stuck in this document for this meeting, the seventh meeting of this season. I think this is our third in-person meeting here at Tequilas. I hope I'm still showing up on that TV, okay?
Yeah.
Good.
You're up there.
I think it's working. I think it doesn't work when I sit over there. I think it has problems. Something about
If you want, I can
where
go
the
sit over
antennas
there
are.
and keep an eye on the TV.
That's totally up to you.
I don't know. I kind of like being the center of attention.
Okay, well then stay here. So, if you guys haven't been paying attention, Apple has just launched the digital ID. This apparently is going to be approved by airports. They're reporting more than 250 airports in, like, I think 12 states. You can pull out your phone and show them your digital ID. I thought this was interesting. This is a good article. It's not an article. Well, it is an article. It's an article from The Verge. But it's more an article about a press release. And what I found interesting about this, it's kind of a roller coaster of a ride, read. Because you can get this digital ID without a real ID. You can use this in lieu of a real ID. You know, the federal approved IDs, which is kind of a pain to go get because you got to go to your DMV and provide them with paperwork that shows you're a citizen that has ties and an address, meeting a federal standard, which became mandatory back in May, even though they're being lenient at airlines. But apparently there are airports where you can show them your phone with this digital ID and it counts as a real ID or as a passport. It doesn't count as a passport to go internationally, but it counts as, you know, that real ID that goes through the airport TSA. Within the states. Now, I thought that was an interesting and fascinating idea. I went out on YouTube to look at some commentaries about it just to see what others were thinking about it. And what is really interesting is to hear about how this is in combination with many other federal services, and that we may need to be a little concerned about these digital ideas because they're scooping up and identifying you as an individual across many different platforms. Many different platforms that we rely on the federal government for, things like Social Security and taxes and things of that nature, are all ending up tied together in this. This is part of what DOJ was doing, going through these filings. I mean, not just citizen verification, but your taxes and whatnot, all being tied together. If you're getting health benefits, if you're getting Medicare benefits, if you're receiving federal assistance for food stamps or food, all these systems in this administration are getting tied together, and the digital ID is kind of like the cherry on top. And I think what we're looking at getting formed here is one of those questions where we wouldn't give it another thought if we had a lot of confidence in the way the administration and our privacy and security are being driven. But given the current climate, this sounds like a really dangerous thing to do.
Did you say climate?
Climate. The climate. That's cute. Yeah, I like Jim's version. The climate. Specifically, if I had some questionable immigration standing, I'd be looking to stay away from this altogether. Somebody's got their hand up. Cheryl has her hand up. Go ahead, Cheryl.
Yeah, this is happening in our province actually. Just today, our provincial government is putting a bill into our legislature. They want to put our citizenship status on our provincial driver's license.
You've just described real ID. That in the United States, that's essentially what they're doing.
And that is scary. And yeah, it's happening in the United States because our premier is extremely interested in all kinds of things that are happening in the States and duplicating them in our province. Yeah, anyways, she wants citizenship status on there, and like people are questioning. That means when I go into a store to buy cigarettes and I show my ID for my age, anywhere, I'm exposing myself as a citizen or a non-citizen of Canada or where my citizenship is. And it's not necessary, it's not needed. And it opens up all kinds of questions about our privacy and what it's going to be used for.
Well, yeah, one of the examples that I was listening to a commenter talking about was how the next natural progression with this is age verification, which is something we absolutely have decided that we need. And so this is an extension of that. But then it goes even farther as being identification for using any electronic payment system. And then the next steps after that would be only accepting those kinds of payment systems for whatever it is you're trying to pay, whether it's the taxes or paying your gas bill, paying your electric bill, whatever it might be. But this is a slow creep into a system where just the flip of a bit decides whether you're able to do something or not, whether you're counted or not, whether you did make that payment, or whether you even have the ability to make that payment. And this is where you see in China, they have already attached their digital, they have a digital ID system, and they've gone ahead and attached it to their social credit system. I think we've talked about that in the past, which is essentially like evaluating what kind of citizen you are from the equivalent of like Facebook, and then determining what something costs on that social credit score, determining your access to things based on that social credit score. You might not be able to buy a bus pass because your social credit score is so low, you're not allowed to. And so this opens, it's just a big can of worms. I appreciate the way Apple writes about it. It sounds like you can't derive the information that you're verifying from the digital ID. What you derive is that you are verified. So like when you hand it to a TSA agent, he can't actually get the name, your social security, any of that kind of information from it. It's kind of like the body scanners where they say they're not able to see anything. They're just told whether there's something there or not. They're able to see your digital ID and see that it's verified. It's got a hash, a encrypted hash associated with it. They're able to look that up in their database and go, this is genuine, and you haven't leaked information. And so I don't think the leaking of information is the concern here. I don't think you have to worry about or you have different worries. I mean, you start taking pictures of a passport and putting it in your digital wallet. There might be other things to worry about in that respect. But I don't think that using a digital ID is creating a problem, a concern that your ID is available to be leaked out of your device. I don't think that's the real concern. I think the real concern is as we go down this path without forethought, we could find ourselves living in a world where if you don't have a digital ID, you can't get indoors, you can't make payments, you're limited in your choices, and what you do pay for may be subject to change at a moment's notice because you are who you are. This kind of thing can be used to track who you are so granularly. I could imagine pulling into a gas station, and because you are who you are, your gas is more expensive or cheaper than the guy that's pulling up behind you. Maybe just because I mean, and Amazon has gotten caught doing this before. Apple's gotten caught helping Amazon do this before. They change the prices put in front of you based on what they know about you. You're more price tolerant, and so they'll raise the price until they're reaching a price where you won't pay for it. Whereas they've got records of other people that won't pay those prices, and so they get presented with cheaper prices. It's really gamifying the people, not the system. If we lived in a different system, I mean, I like the idea of a digital ID. I like the idea of being able to use my watch to verify who I am. I think that makes sense. But we live in as Jim termed, a climate right now, a social climate right now. I wouldn't trust any of these guys with my digital ID.
They haven't anyway.
Which they've already got to begin with. That's right. That's right. I think we really are at a point where we got to lay ourselves across the tracks. We don't get on the train. I hope these things change. I hope they change very quickly. But right now, I don't feel comfortable with allowing this stuff to be considered the norm. We have a choice as a community to determine what we think is a norm. And we don't have to choose this as a norm.
I don't think it should be the norm.
I tried to get your attention when you were picking up our plates.
I totally
Sorry,
like,
because I had a big.
you know those places that will take
A
like
really
a
specific
credit
order.
card and not cash.
Yes.
I think that's crazy every time.
Yeah. Well,
You should take cash.
that is a good example of what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Is like you're dealing with vendors that won't take cash. They'll only take credit cards. Well, then you've been cut off from that.
Gonna lose a lot of business.
Well, except that in this social climate, you're more likely to come across a vendor that would take only a credit card or a debit card and would not take cash.
Then I don't buy from them. If it's in Mexico. If it's in the States, it's almost all credit card.
Yeah. oh.
Exactly. What if you can't get a credit card?
I pay.
You just
I pay cash.
no. Sorry, not the capital U, like you and like the public. What if someone can't get a credit card for whatever reason? They're just cut off with that vendor.
All of a sudden, that vendor's not available to them.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
That's
your comment was they're going to lose business.
Yeah.
But not a significant amount. Not if we set this as a social norm. In fact, you just said it as a social norm. You said it yourself, Jim. You say in the States it's always credit cards.
I do.
Yeah, you do.
Personally.
You do. The capital
That's
Y,
because
as Emily was saying.
The reason is because I live here.
Sure.
So why should I carry U.S. cash and Mexican cash? I only carry Mexican, and I have maybe $100 tucked behind my license, and that's it.
Yeah.
Which I don't use. I just use my credit card up there, and I pay it off. I don't use it down here. I pay for everything in cash.
You know, when we were in Europe, it was even more ingrained. Everyone used tap to pay. So they don't even carry their credit cards around. They just got their phone, and they're just paying for everything with their phone or their watch. It's just the way it works there.
I pay cash in Europe.
And the moment that the phone isn't available, they don't have any money. The moment there's a problem with the system, they're at the mercy of when that system comes back up. And if we set a social norm where cash is considered less than credit, then there's a number of instances where people are missing out on the ability to move freely, do the things they need to do. And I think it really is. It's a social norm. It gets backed up by regulations and laws, but it's a social norm we're setting. Well, Apple, this is an article that will tell you all about how it works in the Apple Wallet. If you read the comments, there's people going, "Oh man, Android's been doing this for years. I didn't know that until I read the comments, but apparently Android's got a version of this." There are some people on the internet that are passing around the idea that this can be used as a passport only in the United States. Can you think of this as a passport? There is no one
How
right.
passports work.
Yeah, well, that's how they work now. In the United States, that's your real ID. That's essentially what we're talking about is real ID, not international travel. This is not set up for international travel. And there's a number of states. I think there's like 11 or 12 states that have agreed to accept this. I believe it's the same 11 or 12 states that have been accepting a digital driver's license. And I don't believe, Sid can correct me if he knows, if I'm wrong, I don't believe Alaska accepts a digital driver's license from a phone. Now, what is interesting about this technology, a lot of people think of like a digital ID or a digital driver's license as like basically a picture, like a digital picture on your phone of your ID. And in some sense, it is kind of like that. But in another sense, it's completely different. The way the system's built, you shouldn't have to hand your phone over to anybody to physically look at. The states that accept this as a digital ID should have devices that can receive the ID from your phone, so you don't have to give up your phone to be able to verify your identification. And they shouldn't need to do anything extra to verify your identification. These are all things that are supposed to set your mind at ease with privacy and security and ease of use. They're just trying to make it very easy for anyone to be welding this as their identification. But I think those social questions are what are the underpinnings of this stuff. I think of it the same way I think about open share. If we lived in a safe world where people don't abuse information, I don't mind everybody knowing what I'm doing, where I'm at. But it's the world we're living in that makes me scared of that information being out there. I can definitely say that if I was I'm sorry, I'm trying to let somebody in. I think it's Richard that's coming into our group. Hello there, Mazatlan today. Welcome to our meeting. We were just talking about the implications of the personal digital ID. I'm hoping you have jumped on because you've been listening to us on YouTube and you have an opinion to share with the group, which you could do now if you want.
Say something.
Say something. Say you can hear us.
Can anyone hear us?
We're alone
Can
here.
you hear me now?
Yes, the T-Mobile cry.
Oh, it's all so technological.
Welcome to the group, MT. All right, it is Richard.
Huzzah!
Huzzah!
Hello. My first Google Meet. How
Yes.
disturbing.
Honored to be the first Google.
We're happy to have you here in person. Richard typically is watching us on YouTube, but I've got a feeling he's got something to say about this issue.
No, I don't actually.
Oh, really? All right. No opinion.
He's perfectly content.
If anybody knows Richard like me, this is a first. He's got no opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we were talking about digital IDs. Did you catch that bit?
Yes, I did.
In fact, let me pass you this link to this document because I bet you don't have it. Or maybe you got it in my announcement this morning, but I'm going to stick it in our chat again because a couple people have added since I pasted it here. So you can feel free to open up that document if you want.
Yes.
Yeah, so this reads like Apple propaganda, and I would say if you don't understand the things that are probably considerations about using a general purpose digital ID, it really becomes a social community issue, and that you should watch some YouTube videos about privacy and security and where we're going with online payments, digital currency, and transactions, and how this could really end up affecting our lifestyle as we move in the future. if nobody has anything to say about that, I'll just move on to another one of these topics, unless that has triggered some topic from one of you guys.
All moving towards no cash.
Cashless is a little concerning in this day and age.
Dear God, we cannot go cashless.
Or worse, we'll just all go to gold.
What?
Maybe all those gold guys are right.
It'd be hard to carry it with you.
Right. But you don't have to worry about the intrinsic value disappearing.
Buy gold.
Oh, sure you do. Oh, come on.
Well, I mean, we're talking about currency in terms of unenlightened people. As the gold will continue to hold an intrinsic value to the cavemen.
Until they find something that's worth more.
So another thing that I thought was interesting is we talked about the Google Nest thermostats. Generation 1 and 2 are being abandoned. They're called orphaned products. They're being orphaned by Google. Google had nothing to do with these products. They bought Nest and branded them Google Nest. And now they've decided to stop supporting them with online services and without software updates.
What's Nest?
Nest is the thermos company. They make heating and cooling adjustments for your climate control in your house.
And they've abandoned the climate controls.
Well, you know what it is now is it's like $130 knob on your wall. It's not a smart device anymore. You can set the temperature, which you've always been able to do with any thermostat. But all the extra smart is gone.
That's the problem with smart devices. If you buy one, they could just drop it because that kind of stuff isn't open source.
When that's absolutely the point of this, which I found this morning. There is a group, or I found yesterday, there's a group out there dedicated to keeping these thermostats online. And if you look at this, Cody, can you say his last name?
Kosiemba?
Kosiemba? Yeah, I think that's pretty close. Kosiemba. He, if you look at his YouTube channel, you might find it a bit dry, but he goes into how Google has stopped these thermostats from working, and it's just ridiculous.
Mine works.
I
don't know what version it is, but
yeah,
it's still working.
You wanna check the generation of it, because if it's a first or second generation, I think they've dropped support for it. As far as the cloud stuff, like the Google Home stuff or the translation layer to go to Apple Home stuff, none of that should be working for you if you have a Gen 1 or Gen 2.
This works. I'm on.
Do you have a Gen 1 or you must not have a Gen 1 or Gen 2?
I don't know what it is.
Yeah. Well, it would have been a Nest before the Nest was bought by Google.
It's only not that old.
Yeah.
A year old, I guess.
It's only a year old?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, it's not old enough to be one of those then. But what's interesting about this guy is he's put together a system so that you can maintain the smarts in your smart thermostat. Keep in mind, there's nothing wrong with these products.
No.
There isn't a security problem with these products. There isn't. The only problem is being self-induced by Google. So much so that he shows in one of his videos that, well, just a little background information. You may have heard me talk about APIs in the past. These are application programming interfaces. And Google, the Nest thermostat has its own API. And what that is with secure access, you can ask it to give you information so that you can pull information for it specifically. So when you pull information from the thermostat, it does things like announces its ID number, and then you use that, well, not ID number, I'm sorry, it's a version number. I think it probably does its ID number as well, but it's version number, and then it uses the information it collected to ask Google for information, such as where to go get the dashboard, how to update online, the smart stuff. So you can go to your Google Home and see what's going on with your thermostat, which you can't do with generation 1 and 2 right now. And what he discovers is that in that API call, if you send to Google version 2 or version 1, it refuses to send you the links.
What the hell?
It's that simple. It's that simple. If you put in version 3 or higher, you get the links to the dashboard.
Well,
You
it
get
all
the
reverts back to the beginning. Didn't you say the version 1 and 2 wasn't Google? Really? Somebody else made them, not Google? And
well,
just slapped their name on it?
and Google's just stopping supporting them.
That's not theirs.
Well, it is theirs. It's theirs because they bought them. Nest was bought by Google.
All right.
Right? So those first generations were Nest. And then when Nest was looking to sell out, they sold to Google. Google took in the name. The name is now Google Nest. Right? And they have a whole line of products under that. Those engineers and people have done that. And what they've done is they've programmed their API to not give you the information you need if you announce yourself as a version 1 or version 2. And he showed where all you have to do is announce yourself as a version 3 and everything works.
Awesome. Wait, that's awesome.
Yeah. And so,
Get them at their own game.
right? Well, without a doubt, because he's proven that they're doing this intentionally, they're going to break it in some other way that just cannot be fixed by changing the version number, because this is the enshittification that we've talked about of the business cycle, the tech business cycle, is that Google takes it away from you, right? And we figure out how they're doing it, and so they rebuild their products so that they have to take it away from you. There's no way it's going to work if they don't take it away from you, unless you buy a new product that later they'll enshittify.
That's what they want.
I like the picture. I like the picture it comes with. The article.
The article?
I like that.
You like that? Let me put that on screen. Now made 100% less evil. Where's that screen picture? Where are we?
Find version number on this thing.
How come I can't find what I'm looking for? There we go. That's what I'm looking for. This is what Emily's talking about. So any of you that are familiar with Google, their mission statement or their motto at the beginning was "Don't be evil," which we've all chuckled at in this latest decade.
Because they've been evil.
Yeah, and in fact, I think they
yeah.
even dropped the tagline from. I mean, they used to have it emblazoned on the walls in their offices, and I think they've chipped it off since then because they need room to be evil.
Yeah.
They can't have something like that getting in the way of evilness. I think that the name of his group is something like 100% less evil. I think that's what he's called his consortium working on this software. I read it somewhere. I don't see it at the moment, but somewhere in there. And it's totally, his solution is totally open source, to always be open source. And so you can make your thermostats work again with his solution. And this group that he's put together are dedicated to continuing to keep projects like this open and working. And we're lucky. We're lucky that somebody has picked up this device and decided to open source it. And it'll be interesting to see what Google does, because a really evil thing would be to sue him for building software that compromises their devices, even though they've abandoned them. And when we talk about that, when you think about that, I want you thinking about the Bill of Digital Rights, because I have that written right in there, that you cannot abandon a product without open sourcing it. Because if you're going to drop support for something, then you need to have the ability, how do I say that?
Have the ability to fix what you're dropping?
Yeah, you have a responsibility to that orphaned product to make it easy for someone else to pick up support for it. What do you got here?
I guess it's a 1.4?
I'm guessing, yeah. Well, software 2. Yeah, I think that's what that means.
It works fine. It's still smart.
Yeah, it's still working for you.
Yeah.
I don't know what to say. Maybe it's going to turn itself off later.
Yeah, I always figure
Yeah.
stuff like that gets to Mexico later.
Well, and who knows? Like, I'm reading more about the Fire Stick, and they're swearing they're gonna drop support for the side loading on their older devices. I mean, that's how everything
They have
reads.
to update the software first.
Yeah.
And that's that block I sent you. You can block the update, and then it'll still be the same.
What we need is somebody like this working on the Fire Stick.
Well, that's what the block does.
Well, the block isn't a change in the software, though. We need like an open source Linux or open source Android distribution that you can side load into your Fire Stick. So you're just done with
format it and
yeah, you're
put a
just
new-
done with Amazon. It doesn't need to be attached to Amazon. You know, to digress, because I digress all the time, the Fire Stick issue is worse than we could have imagined, because they have stated that they will start watching every app you use on the Fire Stick. Now, we were certain they were doing that before, but now they're just coming right out and saying they're going to use that information against you. They're going to track that information and be blocking these activities whenever they can. They are going to go offensive instead of defensive. There's never been a bigger cry to get out of the Fire Stick than what Amazon is telling us they're going to do with the device. Just had to throw that in too. Thank you, hackers, for making the Nest continue to work. Thank you for anybody that's working in open source. And hopefully these guys won't get in trouble. But we have just recently passed some legislation that is making it nearly impossible to reverse engineer legally any of this stuff. And I'm suspecting that things like this Google Nest fix, we're going to see some lawsuits against this guy, because our current legal system, from what I understand, from what I'm hearing people say, it's legal still to reverse engineer something like this. However, with the new laws, it is not legal to share that information.
What the hell?
And so if I figure out how to make my Nest thermostat work, that great. Party. You've done great for yourself. If you share that with your neighbor, you're violating a law. That's
It's just like a law that just like is made to isolate you, you know?
Well, it's definitely a law that wasn't made to protect consumers. It was made to protect business, which is something that we actually have a real habit of in the United States. Most of the regulations we have are to protect people's ability to do business. And when I say people, I mean corporations, because apparently they're people too. Most of our regulations are to protect businesses from losing their ability to do business instead of protecting the people they're doing business with. And that's really what the Bill of Digital Rights is about. It's about protecting consumers from what businesses can do. And this is a good example of that. If Google was forced to lay the product out in the market with documentation, with APIs open, so that somebody else could come along and pick that up, then that would be protecting the consumers.
Hell yeah.
I think one of the frustrating, I talk about not religion, but I have my moments with that as well. I talk about regulation often. And I think, I use regulation kind of as a trigger word, because it will generate just immediately opposite arguments. And what we continue to see is the word regulation is a bad word. And I think that we need to start wording it as protecting consumers. I think that I want the ability to buy services, and the only way I'm going to feel comfortable doing that is with protection.
Buy services.
I-
Own your tech.
Yeah, I want to feel comfortable working in this world, so I need protection in that world. God, I had a good analogy. I was thinking about this the other day. What was my analogy? Well, I think one of my analogies, this isn't the best analogy, but this was one of the things I was thinking about. We have laws in the United States specifically that hold a bartender responsible for how many drinks you've had before you go out in public. If you go mow down somebody in your car because you left a bar where a bartender was not paying attention to you, that bartender holds a bit of liability for what you do. And not a small bit. I mean, he could be held up to almost 50% liability for allowing you to get that wasted. And that's not a protection of the bartender or the business. That's a protection of us. We as a community have set that social standard to protect us by holding those businesses responsible for the way they behave. And I kind of feel, it's not the best analogy, but I think it's in that realm of the kind of civil protections that I'm looking for through legislation. And I'm thinking maybe I should stop calling it regulation and start calling it consumer protections. Open for commentary. If anybody's got a thought on this, please feel free to share.
I don't like that idea. Well, basically because you're not, I think people should be responsible for themselves and take ownership for what the hell they do wrong. And shouldn't be the other guy's fault. He's the bartender.
Well, I agree with you to a point.
Because the guy's just going, oh, he gave me the drinks. He made me drink them. So now I got drunk and I went out there and I did something I shouldn't have done.
That's kind of why it's not a very good analogy.
Well, it's not a good analogy because Jim's right. But I guess the point that I'm making, the analogy I'm making, is that type of legislation shouldn't be. We shouldn't keep talking about it as regulation. We should be talking about it as consumer protection. Because what we're really trying to do, whether it's a good law or not, I mean, I think Jim makes a very good point. But whether it's a good law or not, the intention behind the law is to protect the consumer from being harmed by the business. And that's what I'm talking about.
Not in the case of the bartender, Scott.
You don't think so?
Protect the community. You're not protecting the consumer. The consumer wanted to get fucked up. That's your consumer. You're protecting society. I mean,
okay, so that's a good point. So it would be community protection that we're talking about. It wouldn't be the consumer protection. It would be community protection we're talking about. The same way we might decide.
All of which is completely traditional. We don't allow 12-year-olds to drive.
Right.
That's to protect the community because we've decided that 12-year-olds aren't capable of driving cars responsibly.
And that's actually one of the reasons you wouldn't call that regulation for some reason.
You're right. Typically, you wouldn't.
You wouldn't call it regulation because that's a trigger word, and in this social climate, regulation is bad.
Yeah.
Well, I
love regulation.
I think there's more to explore in that topic. I think as we go further, I think that just a rephrasing. It reminds me of defund the police and what a bad rep that got because people were just throwing it out there without explaining what they mean by it. And before long, yeah, it was a great catchphrase to fight against, just like regulation is a great word to fight against. But without understanding the context behind it, you're not doing anything. You're just creating a battle. We
Scott?
are, yeah.
You call it the Bill of Digital Rights, correct?
Yeah, the Bill of Digital Rights, BODR.
And where does regulation come in?
Exactly. That's right. I didn't write regulation in it at all. I didn't.
No.
You won't find that word in the Bill of Digital Rights at all.
No, you're looking for, under the Bill of Digital Rights, you're looking for protection of societal norms, of consumer users, I guess. Yeah, I don't know if regulation comes into it, but it is, you're right, it's consumer protection, but
well,
it's also more than that.
Yeah, I guess what my point is that you try and do something like the Bill of Rights through regulation, but we need to stop using wording like regulation because it's a trigger word that means we need to fight against you because America is about freedom and we don't like regulation. Right? I like if seatbelts would never have happened in this day and age. It's
You're down to 3 minutes.
3 minutes.
Yeah.
We're moving over to the other meeting, just so we don't get cut off.
How do you do that?
Here, you can follow this link.
You stand up, you turn around to share 3 times.
Yeah, I mean, I knew Cheryl that you might have a.
So Richard, both codes
Sort of
are in
looks
the
like
email
other
that goes
people.
out.
No.
Both, and you can click on that Meet link, and that'll open up another window of Meet. And we do this because we're cheap,
Yeah.
and I won't buy an account.
How did you get here in the first place is the question. Go back to that place and you'll see another code for another meeting.
Or
And
go
I
ahead
have
and click on this
I'm
link.
in again.
You shouldn't have to log in. Did you come in out of an email or out of a,
I don't have any idea, Cheryl.
That's okay,
Of the
Rich.
document.
Just open
Yeah.
up the chat there and click on that.
There,
link.
no, I did. I'm waiting for you now. Please
Okay.
wait until a meeting
All right.
host.
Oh yeah, I
brings
haven't
you
even
the
joined
call.
yet. Let me join and let you guys in. Oh, everybody's waiting for me. How unusual. I'm the holdup. There we go.
There you
We're
go.
shifting over. Adios, meeting. Are we missing anybody? Jim's saying he's about ready to walk out of here.
Got people coming.
We've got Sid, Fred, and Richard. We're missing Chester. Irving never showed up today.
I have a comment.
Yes, Fred, please do.
How come you have an artifact going through your face?
An artifact. Oh, you know what? It's the glare from behind and a shitty web camera in front of me. I think that's what you're talking about.
Yeah,
There's
that's lens flare.
Yeah, unfortunately. Cheryl's with us now.
Well, tally ho, tell your daughter to get that done.
All right.
Good luck with it.
Everybody say goodbye to Jim. Jim's walking out of here.
Everybody
Bye,
say
Jim.
goodbye to Bill. Bill's going out for a
Ciao,
bike
baby.
ride.
Hey, Richard, come on down next time.
Bye, Bill.
Sid, come back. There you are. Are you in your office? It looked like office because of the fluorescent lights. Oh my goodness. Look at that.
You know, it's that time of year where Sid's an office worker. You know, he scans and photocopies stuff.
And here's my office. My office has no, what you call it, fluorescent lighting. It's all natural lighting.
Sid, no profanity.
I already.
Sid is more
Clean
than
show,
Obviously, you've
goddammit.
never been in my
I'm not
office.
used to talking to civilized people.
Sid is more than welcome to visit us. Come February, I think we should have a in-person meeting from this location.
Yeah. That's an awesome idea.
Plan is, yeah. I actually have a visa this year, so I can come down to Alamos.
Awesome. And I've got a car that'll go down to Alamos now.
Yeah, you're welcome.
We are set. Let's see. I do have a couple other articles here if people are interested. Let's see. There's the.
Hey man, why don't you talk about the giant AI stock tank that's taking place even as we speak?
Well, why don't you? This meeting's open to anybody.
You can go to any major news source and you can see that we've got 4 days in a row of declining tech valuations, and maybe this is the start of the cascade. We'll see.
It could be. It could be. The
NVIDIA is announcing earnings tomorrow. That's going to be the next shoe to drop.
Well, yeah, it'll be interesting to see. You know, NVIDIA has had ridiculous earnings.
Well, they haven't had ridiculous. Well, okay, go ahead.
Yeah, they've had ridiculous earnings, so much so they've been making up some ridiculous percentage of the S&P, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, isn't the S&P like 30% of it is NVIDIA right now, something like that?
I don't know if it's 30%, but NVIDIA and the biggest 7 AI players are a very big percentage, very large.
I'm not sure we're the right people to talk about this stuff. I really wish Chester was with us or Irving was with us. I don't have a good idea of how that affects
and Irving
everything.
those links, buddy.
Yeah. Yeah, because like the S&P, I'm not even sure how that affects everything when you've got. But it seems silly to put. Hey, what is that? You've got all your eggs in one basket. That's essentially what they've done. So
what are we talking about?
Oh, just how overvalued AI stocks are right now.
Yeah.
But to your point about it might be the first bricks falling out of the wall, is that Peter Thiel just pulled out of a number of AI, and they're thinking that's a signal that this bubble's about to burst. Financially. This isn't a financial meeting. This is a computer meeting. And what we're talking about is really that speculative value of future growth.
Well, but Scott,
based on technology,
the ideas are inextricably, in my view, linked, because the finance has driven this AI crap. These tech bros who are forcing this on us have only done so because they had the money to do so. You turn off the money, you turn off the tech.
Yeah,
you know?
Nobody's turning off the money. If anything, they've got more money than they've ever had before.
Well, no, but that's the point. That's what a crash will do.
Well, it'll be interesting to see what happens. I'm glad I don't have a lot invested in AI stocks. Because it is a downward. I've been watching it go down every day. I'm like, this might be it.
This could be the start of the toboggan ride.
I'm going to swirl to the bottom with everybody else. Well, What else we got going on? Here is an article talking about Apple's satellite play. I'll leave it for you to read. This is something I've talked about for years. Ever since they put out the phone that could do the emergency texting, we knew that this is just stepping stones to them being their own, not only their own service. Like right now, you could be your own phone service. We got portable phone numbers. Anybody can be one of these. I think it's called a VOE or a VOM, a mobile voice platform over IP. This anybody can do. You know, Deadpool has his own phone network. It's all, this is beyond that. This is them using technology to bounce through satellites their communication. And when they started doing text messages for emergencies, we knew that those were just the stepping stones moving Apple to its own world dominance of communications network. And they're treading lightly because that's a dangerous game to get into playing with. They're big players. Now, this announcement, this information about them getting, they've got talk, they've got text, we're going to be looking at long distance coverage through cells. But what is interesting is they're still not ready. If you read this and you pay attention to the technology, Apple's not ready to go this route. It is a bad idea to have an article like this out unless you're paying attention to what Huawei's doing. Because Huawei has just released their latest phones, and without any special satellite network, they've got satellite coverage. You can use your Huawei phone for cell phone calls anywhere in the world right now, and I anywhere is in quotes because I wonder if it works in the United States. But let's just know that anywhere outside the United States, it's working.
Right.
It is amazing technology. It is an example of it's one of their first products that is all Chinese-built silicon, Chinese-built software, all finished products, doing more impressive capabilities than any of their American counterparts at this moment. This is a really strategic point where Huawei is really showing up the competition, but they're also showing us their way forward, and it's without us. They have released a Huawei laptop that is as fine a product as the most expensive Macintosh, and they've released their own version of operating system that goes with it. And this product is available throughout the world, with the exception of like the United States that has sanctions on Huawei. This is a real turning point for where China sits in our market, because China has traditionally relied on Windows to run their systems, whether they bought their operating system legitimately from Microsoft or they scavenged it through piracy. They have run the majority of their systems on US built OSs, but not anymore, not this year. This year, they're slamming out a huge market of refined products that can easily compete with a windowing operating system. And I'm betting that within the next year, they're going to wean themselves off of all their US operating systems. They have no reason to continue to indulge Microsoft or Apple in this respect.
Man, this is better than gossip.
This is the tech gossip.
This is great.
The cheesema from
Well,
IT.
and I mean, the real turning point was the export controls, because it was entirely predictable that, okay, fine, you're going to impose very stringent export controls, technology export controls, and particularly in software. So fine, they're a culture of 1.4 billion people with a lot of money, so they'll develop their own. I mean, they were already doing it, but the export controls just accelerated all of this.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, just like when you see with the AI stuff, restricting their access to our technology is only hurting us. and it
Yeah.
may be too late. It may not.
Oh, I think it's completely too
Yeah.
late with regard to the operating systems and the silicon both.
You can't
They said
unring
fine.
that bell. It's already happened.
Yeah.
No, it's unfortunate that in hindsight, of course, hindsight's always the best, the clearest view. But what they should have done was like a drug dealer, made Windows and Apple totally available, gave them deep discounts on buying the silicon from us. It just inundated their whole country and their whole platform with American products so that they couldn't they couldn't develop without us. But instead, we've gone this other route, restricting them out of fear, and so they've surpassed us in technology.
Well, and they have an enormous structural advantage that culturally, and contrast this to Mr. Trump's minute to minute proclamations of one thing or another. The Chinese are a culture where the 5-year plan, that's the short term plan.
Right. Yeah. No,
It
they're
is the
talking about
short term plan.
100-year
That's
takeover.
structurally, it is the short term plan. And then there's, how that fits with the 10-year perspective, the 15-year perspective. And we're operating in an environment where, it's the 15-minute plan.
Well, and you go back to what we were talking about before with digital IDs, cultural acceptance of tying that kind of stuff to social credits or to your online payment, and we're just at the mercy of that technology as it propagates across the world because the rest of the world has access to Chinese technology, and we're limiting their access to US technology. What are we going to end up using? We're going to end up using Chinese developed technologies, and we may not get to have a say in how that gets distributed. We may have just lost our ability to choose our own privacy and security. They'll be choosing it for us. This is the most privacy you're allowed.
Mm-hmm.
Well, where are we at? We're at an hour and 12 minutes into this meeting. I've hit most of my topics. What else do we got here? Oh, I do have a triggering topic here. If you guys have not been paying this, I'll mention this, so I'll just get it off the list. You can read about this yourself. This is a 404 article that is very pointed, basically saying Google is choosing to side with Trump. They've gone through and systematically removed apps from their app store that would be helping people identify when ICE is in their neighborhoods, giving people a chance to get away. Because the federal government considers these things to be dangerous to officials, Google is using that as a reason to pull them off their app site, out of their app store. So this is very frustrating. Many times we've had discussions about what happens when they take control. What happens if, well, and I'll go back to the example I've used before. We just lost internet in San Carlos a couple of weeks ago. The entire town, from one fiber optic link going down, we lost internet across at least 2, maybe 3 major services. That includes cell services. That includes phone conversations, text messages. It was a surreal experience to leave San Carlos and get to the Guaymas frontier and have the phone connect to services and have messages start shooting into it, telling us what's happening in San Carlos. Before that moment, you could have theorized we were under attack. This is an example of one single point of failure that shouldn't exist, that could be addressed through regulation. And this issue of Google shutting down these applications that aren't actually violating any rights. They aren't distributing pornography. They're not doing anything except maybe in the federal government's thoughts, putting these officials in jeopardy, right? The irony of it, putting these weaponized, armorized stormtroopers in jeopardy because you're helping immigrants to know what plaza not to be standing in, to know what doors not to be opening. This is putting those agents in jeopardy. That's how they've been pulled out of this store. And because Google's store is the official store to get apps, you've basically, that single point of failure is there. It's Google. It's Google deciding you don't have the freedoms. It goes hand in hand with Google's most recent decision for security to not allow software in their store unless it conforms to a Google developer's ID. If you don't have a Google developer ID, you're not hosted in the store.
The hell.
They are.
Wow, they're getting a fair amount of pushback on that.
Yeah, well, and they should, and it's the reason we should talk about it. It's the reason that we should all have this in our mindset, is to give them pushback. Yes, sir. Oh, I gotta go. Sorry, I totally forgot when we started this message. There's another meeting coming in right after us, and we have run over time. So I gotta shut this down. You guys, we'll save recommendations for next week. I hope Richard joins us next week again. It's always a great discussion. We'll have more tech topics next Tuesday at 10 from Tequilas. Until then, everybody, tech on.
Tech on.